Rhea Ripley forced to vacate WWE Women's Championship due to injury. Imagine training your whole life to sit on top of the mountain, only to have your own knee stage a coup against you. That is exactly what just happened to one of the most dominant forces in WWE history, and the fallout is about to reshape the entire women's division heading into the biggest weekend of the summer. If you love chaos, title changes, and division-shaking news, you are in exactly the right place, so go ahead and subscribe and tap that notification bell, because Wrestling Rush News breaks these stories down before anyone else even finishes their coffee. Let us start with the injury itself, because this one has been a slow-burning storyline in real life for weeks now. Rhea Ripley suffered a torn meniscus in her right knee during her Women's Championship defense against Jade Cargill at Clash in Italy back on May 31st. If you are not familiar with meniscus injuries, think of it like the shock absorbers in your car suddenly cracking. You can still technically drive, but every bump in the road becomes a painful reminder that something underneath is broken. Ripley herself admitted the injury sat in an awkward spot, making it nearly impossible to bend her knee or even squat without pain shooting through her leg. For weeks, WWE tried to buy time. They kept Ripley acknowledged as champion while she worked closely with the medical team, hoping her recovery would sync up perfectly with the calendar. But here is the problem with hoping the clock slows down for you: it never does. As SummerSlam 2026 crept closer, set for August 1st and 2nd, the pressure to make a decision became impossible to ignore. That brings us to the announcement that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Acting SmackDown General Manager Adam Pearce delivered the update fans had been dreading, confirming that Rhea Ripley would not be medically cleared in time for SummerSlam. Rather than let the title sit frozen in place like a trophy nobody can touch, WWE made the call to crown a brand new interim women's champion. Picture it like a company promoting an interim CEO while the real boss recovers from surgery. The business still needs to move forward, and someone has to steer the ship. So how will WWE fill this massive void? The answer is about as chaotic and unpredictable as you would expect from the company that once had a wedding turn into a limousine explosion. Instead of a simple one-on-one match, WWE announced a 5-woman ladder match to determine the interim champion at SummerSlam, and the list of names in the mix reads like a murderer's row of championship contenders. Jade Cargill, who challenged Ripley for the title not once but twice, at both WrestleMania 42 and Clash in Italy, is considered one of the favorites walking in. Then there is Tiffany Stratton, who already holds the Women's United States Championship, essentially auditioning to become a double champion overnight. Add in the unpredictable wild cards of Chelsea Green and Nia Jax, and you have got a recipe for total unpredictability, because ladder matches do not reward the strongest competitor, they reward whoever survives the chaos. Here is where the story gets even more interesting from a business perspective. WWE is not stripping Ripley of the title outright, they are choosing to keep her as the official reigning champion while an interim title holder handles business in her absence. It is a clever bit of long-term storytelling, almost like keeping a star player on the roster during injured reserve rather than releasing them entirely. This keeps the door wide open for a blockbuster confrontation down the road, one where a healthy Rhea Ripley returns to reclaim what many fans still consider rightfully hers. Of course, this situation did not happen in a vacuum. If you have been following the build towards SummerSlam, you know the women's division has been simmering with tension for weeks. Ripley was even quietly removed from certain promotional material ahead of previous shows, a subtle signal that WWE was already preparing contingency plans behind the scenes. That kind of quiet repositioning is often the clearest tell in wrestling, because the company rarely announces bad news before it has already built the alternative pathway forward. For fans, this creates one of the juiciest subplots of the summer. Will Jade Cargill finally get her moment after coming up short twice against Ripley? Will Tiffany Stratton pull off the impossible and become a double champion? Or will chaos reign completely, with Chelsea Green or Nia Jax shocking the world by climbing that ladder first? Every scenario reshapes the landscape of the SmackDown women's division heading into the fall, and every scenario sets up a dream showdown for whenever Ripley finally returns to reclaim her throne. At the end of the day, injuries are the one variable no amount of scripting can control, and WWE just proved they can turn a real-life setback into a can't-miss storyline. Whoever walks out of that ladder match with gold in their hands will have Rhea Ripley's shadow looming over their entire reign, and that pressure alone might be more dangerous than any ladder in that ring. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.